Hopefully you've been able to get these variables printed out. What I've got here are two different ways of doing this. One is introducing a couple of new things. These first lines here that I've just highlighted, this is what I hope you were able to do. You might not have got the text in, so you might have just had a console.writeLine my name, console.writeLine my age. That's fine. If you've got that, you've understood how to print out the variables, and I'm happy with that. I've made it a little bit more complicated, I suppose. I've used very similar to as I used in the previous example. So this first one is exactly as we had in the first one. Console.writeLine hello, the curly bracket, 0 curly bracket, so creating a space within this string for the contents of this variable my name. So it prints out, well, the contents of my name goes into this space, and then it prints out the full thing, hello Andy. The second one, just to demonstrate, the bracket 0 bracket doesn't need to be at the end. It can go anywhere in the string. It can go at the beginning, in the middle, at the end, wherever you want. So in this case I've put the string are you really, then I put the brackets, 0 brackets, followed by the question mark, asking whether I really am 21. Maybe I'm not. The third one, very similar. I've just put some extra text afterwards, so you are, and then the space for the contents of the variable, centimeters tall. And so the contents of my height will go at this space in this string. And the last one, I couldn't think of a good example for this, so the opposite of false is the contents of am I right, which is true. It's just a silly example that I came up with. So if ignoring this bottom line for the moment, if I run this, let me just, in fact, I'll just comment those out with the apostrophe, so that means it won't run those. And you can see, so here we go. So the first one, hello Andy, are you really 21? You are 163.5 centimeters tall. The opposite of false is true. So there we have that first bit. And if you got something like that, well done. That's really, at this stage, just getting them printed out is all you need to do. This second example is a little bit more complex. Right, I'm just going to comment this lot out using the comment out these selected lines, so that'll just stop them running for the time being. If it's in green, it won't be run by the computer. It's there for us, the human, to have a look at. So here, the first thing, I put a blank line. So console.writeLine bracket bracket will just print out an empty line. So it won't print along the top line, whatever I'm printing, it'll print along the next line down. The next thing is I'm using the curly brackets again, but what you'll notice is the first time I put in is 0. The next time I put in is 1. The next time I put in is 2, and the next time I put it in is 3. So it's the same pattern, curly bracket, number, curly bracket, curly bracket, number, curly bracket, curly bracket, number, curly bracket, curly bracket, number, curly bracket. But the difference is the number is increasing each time. They're all four of these are doing the same job. They're creating a space within this string for some values to be put in. The number refers to the list at the end. You see here I've got a list of 4 variables. The first one in this list will go into the 0. So my name will go into this space. The next one along will go into number 1. The next one along, my height, will go into number 2. Ooh. And the fourth one will go into number 3. So just think about these being given a number. This is number 0, number 1, number 2, and number 3. And they will then go into the correct space. So if I run this, move it down a bit, you'll see it does basically the same thing, but just in one line. So hello, and then the contents of my name. You are, the contents of my age, 20 years old, comma, the contents of my height, centimeter tall, full stop, this is all, comma, sorry, contents of am I right, which goes in there. So that's another way of using these curly brackets. So that's something I'd like you to have a go at. The last thing in this video is I want to talk about, very quickly, about variable names. You will have noticed that I haven't used any spaces. If I try to create a variable with a space in, so I put my space name, you see I get an error. It hasn't worked. See here it's all gone the nice pretty colours, blue, black, and then red. It hasn't here. You cannot have spaces in a variable name. You should also avoid special characters like exclamation marks, doesn't like that. Stars, doesn't like it. So just stick to letters. So don't even put numbers in, just letters. Your variable names, otherwise called an identifier, should be sensible. They should give you an idea of what's being stored in that variable. So here, if you think about it, I've got my name, it's storing my name. My age is storing my age. My height is storing 163.5, and now my height is a bit of a silly name because I couldn't think of a good example. But when we get to using booleans properly, we will give them sensible names. So whatever variables you're creating, you need to come up with a sensible name. They can be as long as you want. If you want to have a long name, you can do. So I'll say my shortened first name for example. Now the good thing about Visual Studio is if I want to use that, so I might decide that my shortened first name isn't Andy, it's actually A. When I start typing, if I start typing M-Y-S, you can see it comes up and suggests what I might be typing in. And if I press enter at that point, no, space, it will display it. So I don't have to type it all in. You just need to make sure you've got the right thing. So I might say actually my shortened first name is A. And all that's doing is giving the my shortened first name the value of A. So that's just when you're creating these variables, make sure you're using sensible names. It is better to use a longer, clearer name than a shorter, unclear name. So for example, if you're asking me for some help, I should be able to come over, look at your variables and understand what they're doing just by looking at their names. Okay, have a go at this example here. Let me get rid of my, so I'm not getting a have a go at this example here, see if you can put blank lines in and see if you can use multiple variables in one string. So have a go at that, have a bit of a play around, see what you can do.